Hi everyone. So I know this is a different video than usual, but I figured I'd sort of kind of make a different series if this even becomes one, or this is just a one-time thing, who knows. But um I haven't been able to sleep, and mind you, I usually never am up this early. It's 7 a.m. and I'm going on a walk simply because I can't sleep. And I just wanted to talk to the camera, just face to face. Because usually I'm talking the other way, I'm talking to the camera, but I just wanted to talk face to face, in front of an audience. And, if anyone's watching, I'm really happy. I'm so grateful for anyone that does watch my videos. But to be honest, I have felt like I have felt in the biggest wreck, the biggest slump, the biggest rut that I have felt for a while. And this week will be 1 year since my breakup. And, I'm not really sure how to take it. And I think for a while I was planning this whole post, to you know, hey, so 1 year ago, this is what happened. And this week I've felt so behind on my life and so behind on being a student. I've been slacking the most I ever have on school and with my hobbies and my goals, And I guess it's been a while just because for the past year I've been working so insanely hard to better myself and become better for me and get out of that shipwreck of a life I was living. And this week it kind of just feels like everything reset, and I just want to be honest about that because the truthfully I am just human. I am a human being. And even though I make these videos to be encouraging and help people out that may have been in the same shipwreck or same experience the same things that I have, even though I make these videos, and I make these videos out of the purest intention of my heart. And truthfully, not every day I feel the need, not every day do I feel like I can sit in front of a camera and make these videos. um, which is why I'm doing this today, just speaking face to face and going on a walk, I think a lot with this week, I've felt just so like a bum. I've felt like a bum, just straight up. Um, I haven't felt motivated to do anything except go to the gym, and I go to the gym every single day. Every single day, I mean 6 days a week. Because I have one rest day, and that's the only thing that keeps me out of the house. It's and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. And my sleep schedule has been terrible, absolutely terrible, and that's something I could fully acknowledge. And I think with that comes, you know, responsibility. You it gets to a point. It gets to a point, and I think this week I have really been in a shipwreck. I have been in a wreck, and it may not look like it, but I have felt the most terrible just with myself this past week. And, I think with that comes healing. And the things that I found out last month, getting betrayed by, the person I once loved, and kind of having to pick up those pieces again, and, learning to forgive the people that have hurt me. And, something that happened just yesterday, I went to school, and at the crosswalk, I actually saw my ex's best friend, and I never thought I would have ever talked to him again. Um, but I considered him a friend at the time too. At I once did. I considered him a friend. And I made the decision to go up to him and say hi. And surprisingly enough, he went in for a hug. He went in for a hug and asked me how I've been doing, and asked me about my life and about school, and you know genuinely asking me how I've been. And if I'm being honest right now, I never expected to speak to this guy ever again. I didn't expect to see him, let alone talk to him. And that I've been thinking about it a lot, because I don't know if it was fake, and I don't know if he truly meant, asking about my life and asking how I've been, because I think I've been so blown away with just spending this time alone, and getting to know myself, that you know the people from my past, just quite frankly, I don't really know, how to take those interactions anymore. And that I've been thinking about that interaction a lot. And I don't know, it's been on my mind. It's been on my mind a lot. And I have other stuff on my mind. It's just about how much I've been slacking, and it makes me feel like a waste. It makes me feel like a waste of life, and it's a pretty broad term. I'm at the crosswalk right now, but we're gonna get this. But I think right now it's felt hard to just live. It's felt hard to just kind of get through life, and navigate my goals, and navigate my habits, and figure out what I want to do. It's been hard to just figure out the path that I'm going. And I think this week, it was kind of that plateau. I kind of just hit that checkpoint, that checkpoint of my healing, that just, I feel so stuck. And it's kind of a weird feeling, because I've been working on myself for the past year, and I've done so much for myself, and so much growth on my end, that this this week I just felt it all crashing again. I felt myself in a rut, just in a rut. It is extremely loud right now, so I don't know how well you can hear me. There's an ambulance going on in the background. But I forgot to mention, I'm going on a walk to get breakfast right now. Um, it's this banh mi place that I get quite a lot, and they close really early. But I checked Google Maps, and they open at 7, and a lot of places here are closed at this time. That's considering how early it is. But I feel really awake. I drank a black coffee. I got 2 hours of sleep, probably less. But I I've just felt like such a bum, and I've started to lack on my hobbies and lack on the things that I told myself I was going to do. And every month I've been habit tracking. I have a habit journal. I journal pretty much every day. And I have a little notepad and I put on my wall little post-it notes every single month and write down bullet points of what my goals are for the month. And I write down my gym goals and like what I want my next bench to be, and every month my goal is always self-improvement. It's always self-improvement slash growth. And it is the start of March and I don't feel that. I don't feel like I've been trying. I don't feel like I've been doing what I need to approach that goal. And to be honest, I don't want to, have this negative self-talk. I don't, I try to take out that negativity and that hatred I once had for myself, out. And for the most part it is, but not to use harsh phrasing and all that, but this week I have felt like such a loser. And that's me just being honest. I have felt like such a loser. I'm behind on all my schoolwork. And I checked my grades for probably the first time. I checked my grades for probably the first time, since the semester started. And I guess that just shows how little I care about school. And I wish I cared more. I wish I was motivated. I don't know why, the gym is the only thing that takes me out of the house. And a lot of the days I actually don't even feel like going to the gym. I don't. I do it because, I wanna I wanna look good. And to be honest, I do. I look really good. You know, I'm you probably can't tell through this hoodie, but I've put on a lot of muscle. And I'm getting there. I'm getting to where I want to be at, in terms of my gym goals. But, you know, just in terms of my motivation and life, I've been slacking. I've been slacking a lot. And, I had goals for myself. I told myself I was gonna start learning how to make music. I was learning music theory actually, and I haven't touched Ableton for probably the last 2, 3 weeks. I have not even touched the DAW. You know, I told myself I was gonna find more hobbies and goals. And I'm not even trying with school. I'm just going to the gym, and most of the days, I'm not even taking myself out and going on walks and seeing the sunlight. Except when I record these videos, and a lot of the times I don't feel like recording these videos. I don't. But I do it when I like I said, it comes out of the purest intention of my heart. And it's on those days that I have an idea in mind, and I sit. It's kind of scary to talk inverted, but like setting up my tripod and everything and going to the park to record, the podcast video, whatever you want to call it. A lot of the days I don't feel like actually doing that. And like I said, I do that on the days that I feel like I have like an idea storming, and today I just wanted to talk. I just wanted to talk. To be honest, I am human, and you know, I do feel lonely. But yeah, let's I forgot to mention I've been at the parking lot circling around for a bit, but I'm at the store. I'm here, so let's head in. That's the menu. I think I'm gonna get the 19. Normally I would get a banh mi, but I'm gonna get that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Can you get the number 8? Yeah. The pork banh mi and the number 19. Number 19. Okay. Yeah, so I got a pork banh mi too, for later for my mom. Just because that place is top tier banh mi place. I've never had their plates though, which is just a basic meat rice plate. So this is it right here. That looks incredible. It looks great. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think sleep is definitely a really important thing that I think a lot of us, especially in this generation, lack. Um, and to be honest, I can't even blame school because of it. Because quite frankly, like I only go to school twice a week, one class. So I know this is entirely on me. I just want to be honest. Like I've felt like I've been in a rut this past week, and you know, I'm really stressed out um, about this rave I have coming up because you know the last time I went to a rave was over half a year ago, and you know it was last summer. It was not great. You know all I could think about was my ex, and I'm pretty scared. You know I'm going with new people and new friends this time, and you know I've been so in my head about that. Um, but you know I've just been figuring it out. Oh, okay. So I think there's some fish sauce right here. Fish sauce in Viet is called nước mắm. I kind of wanted to get on camera because I don't speak Viet like that, but yeah, I spoke English when I ordered and everything. But when I picked up the order, I said "cảm ơn," just thank you in Viet, and then the lady said it back. I think people get surprised when I speak English and then I say thank you in another language. I think that's really funny. I don't know, it's me. I don't think I'm gonna use the Nook Mama actually, but first bite. Personally, I would not get this again, but I did just want a savory breakfast, sort of. So it's pretty cool. Um, yeah, I just want to say I'm grateful. I'm so grateful to just be speaking and recording this video right now. Um, I don't know who's watching this, and I know it's a different type of video than I normally would do, but I really wanted to just go out on a walk and, you know, walk to earn my breakfast, whatever. But I'm grateful. I'm super grateful for this channel, grateful that I have this account. And I don't care if it's, you know, one person watching, 10 people watching, you know. Any type of support means so much to me. Just seeing one comment makes my whole day, honestly. And considering this week I've felt like such in a rut. I have not posted a video in over a week. So this would be my first video in over a week. And to be honest, like I just wanted to come on here and like kind of explain why, I've been feeling so unmotivated on a lot of things, a lot of aspects of my life. And you know, I'm still young. I'm still, in the start of my 20s, still figuring out my life, figuring out my goals and figuring out what I want. I know it's been hard to navigate that and navigate what path I want to go down and figure out what I want to do after I get my degree. But I'm learning and I'm trying. I'm trying. If anyone else is on that same path as me, just know you're not alone. And there are beautiful things coming in this life, and just have hope. Just have hope. But for now, I'm gonna finish this meal. Maybe not all of it right now, but I'm gonna eat, and I hope anyone watching, I hope you have a blessed day, and keep living, continue to have hope. Even on your hardest days. Because trust me, I've been struggling. I've been struggling, but just have hope. Just have hope. But yeah, peace.